My beloved child, before this day comes to an end, I want you to be still for just a little while. I know your heart has been carrying questions that no one else can hear. You have smiled when you wanted to cry. You have told people you were fine when your soul felt exhausted. You have wondered if anyone truly understands the weight you've been carrying. That is why you are here right now. This isn't an accident. Before tomorrow arrives, there is something your heart needs to remember. Stay with me until the very end, because what you are about to hear may become the quiet strength you didn't know you still had. You've been measuring your life by what hasn't happened yet. You've looked at closed doors and assumed they were permanent. You've watched other people move forward while you felt like you were standing still. Sometimes the silence has seemed louder than any answer. Sometimes you've mistaken waiting for being forgotten. But waiting and being forgotten are not the same thing. A seed buried beneath the soil can appear lifeless to anyone looking from above, yet beneath the surface, something extraordinary is already taking shape. Just because you cannot see growth does not mean growth has stopped. Think about how the sunrise arrives. The world doesn't suddenly leap from darkness into daylight. First comes the faintest hint of light on the horizon. Then the shadows begin to retreat. Then the colors awaken one by one. Your life often changes the same way. The greatest transformations rarely announce themselves with fireworks. They begin quietly, almost invisibly, until one day you look back and realize everything has changed. I know you've replayed old conversations in your mind. You've wondered if you should have spoken differently, loved differently, trusted differently, or walked away sooner. Regret has a way of convincing people that yesterday deserves more attention than today. But every minute spent trapped in yesterday is a minute that tomorrow cannot fully bloom. There is wisdom in remembering, but there is freedom in releasing. Someone listening right now has been carrying guilt for far too long. You've apologized 100 times inside your own heart for mistakes that cannot be undone. Listen carefully. Growth is not pretending the past never happened. Growth is allowing the lessons to remain while refusing to let the pain become your identity. Your worst day was never meant to become your permanent name. There will always be voices that try to define you by your failures. Some people only remember the version of you that was struggling because they never stayed long enough to witness your healing. Let them remember what they choose. You are not responsible for every opinion someone forms about you. You are responsible for becoming the person you were created to be. Tomorrow will arrive whether you're ready or not. The question isn't whether tomorrow is coming. The question is what you will carry into it. Will you carry resentment that has become too heavy? Will you carry fear that has stolen your peace? Will you carry the belief that nothing good can happen because too many difficult things already have? Or will you decide, even if your hands are trembling, to carry hope instead? Hope isn't pretending that life has never been difficult. Hope is choosing to believe that difficulty does not have the final word. It is the quiet decision to keep walking even when the destination isn't visible yet. It is planting flowers in a garden that still looks empty because you trust that seasons always change. Remember the child you once were. Before disappointment taught you to be cautious. Before rejection convinced you to hide pieces of yourself. Before failure whispered that you should stop dreaming. That child believed impossible things could happen. Somewhere along the way, life tried to convince you that hope was childish. But genuine hope has never been weakness. It has always been courage. Every scar you carry tells two stories. One story is about the pain you experienced. The other story is about the fact that you survived it. Too often you focus only on the wound and forget the strength it took to keep moving forward. You underestimate yourself because you've become so familiar with your own resilience that you've stopped recognizing it as extraordinary. There are moments when life feels like standing in the middle of a storm, wondering if the sun still exists beyond the clouds. It does. The clouds only hide it for a while. Your emotions can do the same thing. Fear can hide peace. Grief can hide gratitude. Doubt can hide possibility. But hiding something is not the same as destroying it. If you've been praying for clarity, don't ignore the quiet moments. Answers don't always arrive through dramatic signs. Sometimes they come through unexpected peace. Sometimes they come through a conversation you almost didn't have. Sometimes they come through the strength to take one more step when you believed you had nothing left to give. Forgiveness may be the hardest journey you've ever been asked to take. Not because what happened was acceptable, but because carrying bitterness slowly steals joy from the one holding it. Forgiveness doesn't always restore broken relationships. Sometimes it simply restores your own heart. It allows you to breathe without constantly inhaling yesterday's pain. Love yourself enough to stop fighting battles that no longer deserve your energy. Not every misunderstanding needs to be corrected. Not every critic needs an answer. Not every closed door needs to be forced open. Peace often arrives the moment you stop trying to control everything beyond your reach. You may feel like your story is moving too slowly. But some of the strongest trees spend years growing roots before anyone notices how tall they've become. Your invisible seasons matter. The work happening inside your heart today may become the strength someone else depends on tomorrow. Never underestimate the power of one decision. One kind word can change someone's day. One act of forgiveness can change a family. One moment of courage can change a lifetime. One decision to keep going can completely rewrite the ending of a story that once seemed hopeless. Before tomorrow begins, give yourself permission to rest. Not because every problem has been solved, but because your soul was never designed to carry endless worry without pause. Close your eyes tonight knowing that your value has never depended on perfect circumstances. Your worth has never been measured by your income, your achievements, your popularity, or the opinions of strangers. Your worth has always existed long before any success or failure entered your life. Tomorrow is not your enemy. It is another opportunity. Another sunrise. Another chance to choose kindness over bitterness, courage over fear, faith over despair, and love over anger. You don't need to have every answer tonight. You only need enough faith to take the next step when morning comes. So breathe deeply. Release what has become too heavy to carry. Hold tightly to what fills your heart with peace. Walk into tomorrow with quiet confidence, knowing that even if the road is uncertain, you do not have to face it with a defeated spirit. There is still beauty waiting to be discovered, healing waiting to unfold, friendships waiting to grow, lessons waiting to strengthen you, and moments of unexpected joy waiting around corners you cannot yet see. As this day gently comes to a close, let your heart become lighter than it was when you first began listening. Let gratitude replace worry, even if only one small piece at a time. Let hope become louder than fear. Let compassion become stronger than regret. And remember this: whenever tomorrow feels overwhelming, the same heart that carried you through yesterday is still beating today, and it is stronger than you realize. If this message touched your heart, write "Amen" in the comments, and subscribe for more uplifting messages that bring hope, peace, and encouragement into your life. My beloved child, as you prepare for tomorrow, there is one more truth I want you to carry with you. Not every delay has been a punishment. Some delays have quietly protected you from paths that would have drained your spirit. There were opportunities you cried over when they slipped away. There were people you begged to stay, believing your happiness depended on them. Looking back now, can you see how some of those endings made room for something healthier? At the time, they felt like losses. Today, they look more like lessons wrapped in painful moments. There is a quiet strength growing inside you that no one else can fully see. It wasn't built during your happiest days. It was shaped during the nights when you had no one to call, when your heart felt heavy, and when all you could do was keep breathing one moment at a time. Those nights were not wasted. They taught you endurance. They taught you compassion. They taught you how to recognize another person's pain because you've walked through your own. Don't let temporary emotions convince you that your future has already been decided. Feelings are real, but they are not always reliable. Fear can make a small obstacle look like a mountain. Discouragement can make one closed door seem like the end of the journey. But tomorrow carries possibilities that your mind cannot fully imagine tonight. The next conversation, the next opportunity, the next unexpected act of kindness could shift your entire perspective. Some of you have been carrying invisible burdens for so long that you've forgotten what peace feels like. You wake up already exhausted, not because your body lacks strength, but because your heart has been fighting silent battles. If that's you, hear this with an open heart: you do not have to solve your entire life before you deserve peace. Peace begins the moment you stop demanding perfection from yourself. You have been comparing your life to people whose stories you only see from the outside. You notice their victories but not their struggles. You admire their confidence but never witness their doubts. Every life has hidden chapters. Every smile has survived unseen battles. Stop measuring your beginning against someone else's middle. Your journey is unfolding in its own time, and that does not make it any less meaningful. There is someone listening who feels overlooked. You've worked hard, loved deeply, and tried to do the right thing, yet you wonder why your efforts seem unnoticed. But remember this: the most valuable things often grow quietly. The tallest trees spend years strengthening their roots before anyone admires their height. Your unseen growth matters. Your quiet faithfulness matters. Even when applause never comes, your character is still being formed. Before tomorrow arrives, release the pressure to have every answer. Life isn't asking you to know everything. It is asking you to take the next faithful step. A traveler doesn't need to see the entire road to begin walking. One light in the darkness is enough to move forward. The next step often reveals the one after it. Be gentle with yourself when old memories return. Healing is rarely a straight line. Some days you'll feel stronger than ever, and other days an unexpected memory may bring tears back to your eyes. That doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're human. Even healing has seasons. Give yourself permission to keep growing without expecting yourself to be perfect. And if someone has made you feel like you were never enough, don't carry their words into tomorrow. People sometimes speak from their own pain, their own fear, and their own brokenness. Their opinion does not determine your value. Your worth has never depended on another person's ability to recognize it. The world often celebrates loud success, but quiet faithfulness changes lives in ways that cannot always be measured. The person who chooses kindness when no one is watching. The one who forgives without announcing it. The one who keeps showing up despite disappointment. Those are victories that echo far beyond what anyone can see. Tomorrow may not look exactly the way you hope. Challenges may still appear. Questions may still remain unanswered. But remember how many tomorrows you've already survived. Think about every day you believed you wouldn't make it through, yet somehow, here you are. Stronger. Wiser. More compassionate than you were before. So tonight, let your heart rest. Lay down the worries that have followed you all day. Breathe deeply, knowing that every sunrise carries another opportunity to begin again. No matter what yesterday held, no matter what today felt like, tomorrow is another page waiting to be written. Walk toward it with courage, with hope, and with the quiet confidence that even the smallest step forward still moves you closer to the person you're becoming. My beloved child. Before the sun rises again, I want you to understand something that fear has tried to hide from you. Your greatest battles have not been fought in places where everyone could see them. They have been fought in the silence of your own thoughts. There were mornings when you smiled at the world while quietly wondering if you still had the strength to keep going. There were nights when sleep refused to come because your mind kept replaying every disappointment, every unanswered question, and every dream that seemed farther away than ever. Yet here you are. You are still standing. That alone is proof that there is more strength within you than you've been willing to believe. Never confuse a difficult season with a defeated life. Storms have a way of making people believe the sky will never clear again. But storms were never designed to last forever. They pass. The rain eventually stops. The wind grows quiet. And when the clouds begin to move, you often notice a beauty that wasn't visible before. Some of the most meaningful moments in your life will come after seasons you once prayed would end. There is something remarkable about people who choose kindness after they've experienced pain. They know what harsh words can do, so they speak gently. They know what loneliness feels like, so they make room for others. They know what disappointment feels like, so they become a source of encouragement. Don't underestimate the power of the compassion your struggles have created within you. The very wounds you wished had never happened may become the reason someone else finds hope. Sometimes you ask why certain doors never opened. You wonder why opportunities disappeared just as you reached for them. It is natural to question those moments. But not every closed door is a sign that you were rejected. Sometimes it is simply a reminder that not everything you desire is meant to define your future. There are paths that seem beautiful from a distance but would quietly steal your peace if you walked them. Trust that life can protect you in ways you may not immediately understand. Look at the sky on a clear night. The stars are always there, even when daylight hides them. In the same way, hope remains present even when worry becomes louder. Just because you cannot feel hopeful every moment doesn't mean hope has disappeared. It waits patiently beneath the surface, ready to shine again when your heart grows still enough to notice it. Don't let one chapter convince you that the entire story has already been written. A single disappointment does not cancel every possibility ahead of you. One mistake does not erase your ability to grow. One heartbreak does not mean you will never love again. One failure does not define your future. Life has a beautiful way of surprising those who refuse to stop believing that tomorrow can be different from yesterday. There is freedom in accepting that you cannot control every outcome. You can choose honesty, but not how everyone responds to it. You can choose kindness, but not whether everyone appreciates it. You can choose faith, but you cannot force every answer to arrive on your timetable. Peace begins when you stop trying to carry responsibilities that were never yours to hold. As tomorrow approaches, let gratitude become your companion. Not because everything is perfect, but because there is still something precious within every day. The breath in your lungs. The people who genuinely care about you. The lessons you've learned. The strength you've discovered. The opportunities that are still waiting beyond the horizon. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it reminds you that pain is not the only thing your life contains. There will be moments when you feel like giving up on yourself. When that moment comes, remember every version of you that refused to quit. Remember the child who dreamed without limits. Remember the young heart that kept hoping after disappointment. Remember the person who quietly survived days that no one else fully understood. Those versions of you are still part of who you are today. They are cheering you forward even now. And when tomorrow finally arrives, don't rush through it as if it were just another ordinary day. Notice the small miracles that often go unnoticed. The warmth of morning light through your window. The laughter of someone you love. The unexpected smile from a stranger. The quiet moment when your heart feels lighter than it did the day before. Life is often transformed not by one enormous event but by countless small moments of grace gathered together over time. So walk into tomorrow with your head held high, not because you know exactly what will happen, but because you've learned that uncertainty does not have to steal your courage. Your story is still unfolding. Your heart is still healing. Your purpose is still growing. And no matter how long the road may seem, every faithful step you take is leading you toward a life shaped not by fear, but by hope, love, and quiet, unwavering strength. If these words have reached your heart, stay with them tonight. Carry them into tomorrow. Let them remind you that even in your quietest moments, you are never without the possibility of a new beginning.